yeah, it's just about having fun
All right.
and embracing the conversation wherever it goes and
All right.
dancing with it. So,
Okay.
wow, okay, so here we are. So, Wendy, tell me a little bit about what you
Because we do know that we're live, right?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
we're live. We're live. As we can't showcase our passions or anything on 11/11, but you can still be passionate, right?
Oh, good.
What are some of the things you like to do that won't be, showcasing for the sake of, you know, promoting something or because this is your work? But if it's like a past job or something, that's okay to talk about because if it's not, something you're currently doing or want to showcase, right, for the purpose of showcasing. But what are some hobbies you like to participate in or do?
Well, and Scott will tell me if this is off limits, but I used to be on staff in the early 80s with Landmark. I love transformational work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I love having people discover uh, new ways of thinking, and and
And yeah, you crossed the format already because you're
okay.
indirectly showcasing, that part of you that is your work right now.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So
So we won't talk
your
about that.
hobbies
How about
outside of the your work, right? What are some of the things you like to do?
I love playing with my granddaughter. I
Mm,
have a 2-year-old granddaughter, um, and I'm one of her main caregivers.
mm,
Uh, and I just love uh, having like she's like a sponge. She wants to do everything I do. She imitates everything. Uh,
mm.
so I love playing with her and teaching her, and I feel it's a real privilege to, just be able to hang with her. Yeah,
Mm,
and it can be challenging at times because of different things that I also do. But my daughter's a single mom, and my little granddaughter was harmed at a daycare
mm.
this spring, and so I became the main caregiver of her to have her be healthy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's your favorite thing that you do with her? Do you have a favorite thing that you
Uh,
really enjoy?
read. I love reading, and I don't have a TV, so I
Mm,
can read many, many books over and over again because little kids love that.
yeah.
Um, and so she'll sit there and pretend she's reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I love taking her to the park and having her watch her interact, guide her, and help her interact with other children.
Mm,
Um, what else do we do? I take her swimming. Uh, she loves playing. She's a bit nervous of the water, so I'm hoping to get her some lessons. But there's a pool when we take the bus, and it's designed for children. Like it's like a wading pool, and it'll be uh, like it's only a few inches, and then it goes deeper, and it has toys. And so I sit there and just play with her in the water.
oh, sounds like fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like a real kind of a treat, is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You have one granddaughter? Do you have any
Yeah,
other
no,
grand?
I have no other grandchildren, and I just feel I'm really honored that, like I say, it can be challenging to create the time to be with her because I
Yeah.
have many other things I do. But I just feel, especially coming from my childhood, I came from a very dysfunctional, violent background.
Mm,
So for me to be able to um, just be in the presence. I get emotional when I think of it, but just the love um, like the love that she has for me and the love I have for her and the love I have for my daughter. My daughter totally trusts me, and I just think like, wow, what an honor and a privilege, because that wasn't how I was raised. So I just feel pretty grateful. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's amazing. I think like, just your present to, being Thanksgiving here in Canada and Toronto, just present to, just the thanks and the appreciation, right?
Mhm.
And what to be appreciated for and thankful for. I think it's just it feels when you're in that zone, it feels like you're just no matter what's going on, you're in this higher vibration.
Yeah.
In this abundant space with appreciation really does have that abundant feeling when you're generally feeling that appreciation
Yes.
in
Yeah.
that mode.
And
Yeah.
tomorrow, you talk about Thanksgiving. I get to. I don't very often go over to my older daughter's home. She comes to mine, but she's having
Mm,
a Thanksgiving dinner, which is really cool.
yeah.
For she, she's away with a boyfriend right now, but she's got another male friend that's going to come into her place and start the dinner.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 17 of us. Um,
Wow.
some of them I know. It's I don't have a large family. There's just me and my two girls and my granddaughter.
Mm,
But all these other friends. So I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to create this fellow that I haven't met's cooking the dinner, and I'm bringing some wine and some dessert, and then we're going to play games after. So
sounds like fun.
yeah, I just think it's really cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Do
yeah.
you is turkey like one of your favorite things in
I
Thanksgiving?
love turkey. In fact, this is the first year that I have not cooked.
Oh,
So I had to give up. Like I just, when the kids said to me, Mom, let's have dinner at my oldest daughter's, I was just like, oh, like, because I love cooking. One of my favorite hobbies is cooking too. I love cooking.
wow.
And
Nice.
it's how I express my love. And, um, and so to give that up and just detach with love and just go, okay, uh, and support the girls.
Kind of give up the control over the cooking and just
Absolutely.
enjoy the food, right?
Absolutely. So I don't eat dairy and I don't eat wheat.
Mhm.
And so that's why I love doing my own cooking, because I know I can trust what I cook.
Right. Yeah.
But this
And I don't eat spiders or snakes.
oh, don't you? so what was neat is this young lad. Um, he sent a menu to my daughter, and she sent it to me, and it's catering to a lot of what I can eat. So I just thought that was awesome. Like they're totally treating me like royalty.
That's that's
so,
awesome. That's great.
so
What
what
are
did you do for
sorry.
your Thanksgiving? Yeah.
Well, it really depends on the year, and there's sometimes we go over to my dad's sister's place for Thanksgiving if they have something. This year it seems like, I mean, we haven't been invited or anything, not that I'm aware of. So I've just gotten like a turkey, and we'll be cooking it here. And if I can say, Scott loves turkey, right? So, and then I just called, my parents to come in and join in the turkey lunch. And so, just like something simple. So
Mhm.
really keeping it simple every year. Yeah, it really depends. Sometimes we'll just have, you know, turkey ourselves, or we'll go over to my aunt's place for Thanksgiving dinner. It really depends. Yeah,
Mm.
on the year. But yeah, it's like, it's people look forward to the long weekend, right, of it. So it's, yeah, it's, I think just I think anytime we should really remember and appreciate, and sometimes, we are, or sometimes we aren't, right?
Mhm.
I think Thanksgiving just has, I think, that special, or can have that special meaning. What we make of it. It's just about appreciation, you
Yeah,
know?
it's about being thankful for whatever we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of things, dishes do you like to cook, or what's your favorite type
Oh,
of dishes?
I love food. I love Thai food. I love
I say food
Japanese.
is part of life, eh? Enjoyment of life.
I love Indian food. I love, the
Popular.
traditional Canadian food. I love Mexican.
Mm.
But generally, I live on my own, and my granddaughter's here almost every day. So I cook lots of vegetables. I'll roast chicken and eat lots of salads and fruit.
Mm.
And I love making homemade soups.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, love because it's real simple. I love uh, I love to be able to teach young people like how
Mm.
to if like my kids when they call and they go, Mom, how do I boil an egg? I laugh. It's like,
It seems like what seems so simple can be complicated, can be a foreign language to someone else, right?
well, they're 23 and 30, and they live off of processed food, and I do everything from scratch because it's
Oh,
so,
right.
so much more flavorful, and I'll do it in batches and then just freeze it, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, my dad's into all the health stuff, and so he tells me, like, never buy processed foods. And not that I do really, but occasionally, if I get tempted to buy something that's in a box, and it will look really good, right? From the picture.
Of course.
I don't do this often, but I find, like, but when I cook it, yeah, it doesn't taste all that great,
Well,
from the box. So, yeah, like, those little meal stuff.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've never bought one, but yeah, I see them at my one daughter's all the time.
Yeah.
It's craft dinner or like I look at her fridge and I look at her cupboard and I like, oh, I have to keep quiet. It's
Mm.
hard to keep quiet when I see that. I'm like, oh, you've got a little girl. You want to have healthy food in there, but
Mhm. Mhm.
I raised them on healthy food. But I guess when I look at my daughter, that's this young mother. She's only 23 with a 2-year-old. She works full time, and she works long hours, and she's tired. She gets home and she wants to deal with her baby, and so
Yeah.
I can see that. She lived with me for about a year when the baby was just a year old, and they just moved out a few months ago. And um, you know, uh, she loved being here because she didn't cook. I did all the cooking.
Yeah.
But I noticed as soon as she's on her own again, she's doing that. But I can understand it. Like yeah, if you're tired and if you haven't disciplined yourself to do stuff, it's just easy, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's faster. I think it's more convenient. But now these days, I mean, I don't have the example in my mind. I think these days there are things you can get, like you can cook fresh, that are faster. I don't know what really, maybe potatoes or something. I don't know. But yeah, I guess the box food, you just put in the microwave or on the stove and it's ready made, right?
Yeah,
It's
with
just
it, I
extra.
guess I guess it's faster. I don't know. I can cook a really good meal uh, within a half an hour, and
Mm,
depending if it's roasted vegetables, they take an hour. But I
yeah.
think part of healthy eating is planning, like ahead, and um, so that I used to do some volunteer work and help young mums and how to plan their meals so that they could eat healthy and it didn't have to cost a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And if they planned ahead, and I encourage them to find other mums that were low income, and then do stuff together, like plan meals together.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah, kind of support each other because you're in the same
yeah,
crowd or same boat, right? As a young mom, right? Pasta is usually easy to make. I find whenever I make pasta, that's if I want to make something quick, pasta, and then there's this what's it called, Alfredo. You get in the jars Alfredo sauce.
yeah,
Just mix it up, and it's actually pretty good. I tried it probably for the first time not too long ago. It was pretty good, and it's like if so there's something quick to make. Just boil the pasta, mix the Alfredo sauce. It's already in the jar. I think it depends on the brand you get, but it's pretty tasty. And I just like cut some tomatoes and mix it in there just to, add some flavor to it. But it was pretty good.
right.
Yeah.
That's what my daughter does, that a lot. She does pasta for her and her daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
easy. And then she puts cheese on it or whatever,
Yeah. Or
melts cheese on it.
yeah. Or
Yeah,
making like spaghetti with like meat sauce or something. So that's
yeah,
not really processed. Like if you get the fresh
yeah,
meat.
yeah. She does that. Yeah. I don't eat a lot of pasta because I don't eat wheat, and even though they have gluten free, I've
Mhm.
just when my daughter lived with me for a year, I actually started buying some gluten free pasta and stuff, um, because I didn't want the other stuff in the house because
Yeah.
well it could have I could if I ate it by accident, if it got mixed up, I could be quite sick. So I bought some gluten free stuff, and it wasn't too bad, but it just I it's been years since I've had wheat, that it was all new to me. But my daughter loves anything with wheat, anything that has wheat. She loves it. All the carbs, she loves that.
Mm.
I guess it's comfort food, eh? Comfort
Yeah,
food for her.
yeah, yes, yeah. I guess if you look at it that way, comfort food or easy, quick food, whatever.
Yeah,
But it could get very, very comforting. Yeah.
yeah.
So, what are some things do you like to do on the weekends? Like, do you usually have weekends just to yourselves, or you're with
No,
her?
I have to be like basically work all weekend. Like
Oh, okay.
Yes, Anita, that question set her up to make it difficult. I was like, that wasn't too wise.
Well, thank you for steering it on the right direction.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's okay. But
Or anything for fun that's not work related. If you were
oh,
to have some time to yourself, that like I know you love spending time with your granddaughter, but just some time when you do have, or do you have some time when you do just want to do something on your own?
I rarely have time or make time to do stuff, but I just realized that I need to start doing that, and because I'm making time with my granddaughter, I my other work I have to fit it around, like so I can do that. But uh, this summer I actually took a couple of days, and I love doing this. And a bunch of women, we've all done a course, and so we get together maybe a half a dozen times a year, and we went. I live in British Columbia, and we went to
Mm,
Harrison Hot Springs, which is a couple of hours from here, but it's just beautiful. I used to live in that area.
yeah.
Uh, it's a beautiful lake. It has natural hot springs, and my one of the girlfriends in the group, her and her husband have a cottage there. So I think there were six of us or eight of us, but we had a blast. We just went.
Mhm.
I had never kayaked on my own, and we went kayaking and
Yeah.
sang songs and played some grass games, like games that you could do on the as teams, like we took teams and just reminisced, and it really brought home to me. I don't do that enough. I'm always taking care of other people, and not that
Mm-hmm.
that's a hardship, but it's just that downtime and playing. I haven't learned to play that much, and I'm by myself a lot at night. So like I read. I love reading, right? And my one daughter, um, she gave me Netflix, but I've had that for a year, and maybe I've watched 6 movies in a year. I enjoy a good movie, but I just don't think of it. It's, to relax, I just sit and read. Like that's how I
Mm-hmm.
give myself downtime. And I can read, self-help books, and I can read romance. I can read murder mystery. Just, I've never, had a TV. So for me, downtime is reading. And yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and
Isn't
I love walking. I love going for walks and
oh
yeah, I love walking and
yeah.
biking. Like I love to go biking. Yeah.
That's good exercise too. Just moving your legs and your feet and yeah, get that blood flow working.
What do you do for fun?
Well, I like to, I do like my movies, right? So as a break, I do like to watch, like, if there's a good movie on Netflix, or I normally like the thriller kind of movies, as a way to escape. When I say it's not a bad thing, escape, but just as
No.
a, get into that world as a break. I do like to do that for like, leisure time. I like going out for coffee with family. I like watching my soap operas. So, yeah, and I like, going to the mall or just walking around, looking at different stuff, or, yeah, I'm more of a city person.
Okay.
So there's something, and it depends what I'm in the mood for, right? When I'm not kind of in mesmerizing my work, or I just got to do it. Like, sometimes I do enjoy cooking as well. I'm not saying I'm like this. I try all these. I'm not saying like I try all these recipes and I go overboard. Of course, you gotta cook, but I like to embrace, the food. Like, tomorrow I'm making Thanksgiving lunch. So I went shopping today to get a turkey. And I took some time because, if I'm like making it, especially, I want to make sure I'm, honoring the whole process. It's not just doing it for the sake of doing it and suffering through it, but
Yeah.
just doing it right. When I say right, like just honoring and enjoying the process so everyone has that good experience of a meal, right?
Yeah.
So taking that joy in it. So,
How
yeah.
do you cook your turkey?
Well, I think just probably put some seasoning, salt, pepper. To make it juicy, put an orange inside or a lemon, or sorry, or a lime. And yeah, and pretty much like keeping it simple. But I think last time I made it, it really turned out good. And it's not like I've been making turkey for years, right? I not really a turkey person, but the last couple of times I made it, I got could that turned out good. So I think I'm going to stick to the same way of making it.
Excellent. I was just curious because I had a little Irish granny, and
Mhm.
God bless her, she's been gone a long time. And she used to run she owned her own restaurant in the 30s. And she said what she used to do, and I still do it, and it makes the turkey just wow, is you get a paper bag
Mhm.
and you oil the inside of the bag. That's all you do. You don't oil the outside, you oil the inside, like the bottom part, the sides, the 4 sides and the bottom. and then you oil the turkey, and you stick the turkey inside the bag, and then put the bag in a roast pan.
Oh, how do you boil the bag though? What do you put it in?
You don't. A lot of people. I've taught some male friends how to do this, and they're like, "Are you sure it's not going to go on fire?" But it doesn't. You just oil the inside of the bag.
You mean like a plastic bag?
No, a paper bag. You don't. It's not.
Oh, okay.
You go to the grocery store, and sometimes you have to buy them now because they're not available.
Yeah.
But you get, a big, you know, grocery shopping bag, like not a shopping bag, but do you know what I mean? Like the grocery bag, about this big. And you oil the bottom and the four sides inside the bag. And it has to be a paper bag. Do not use plastic.
Yeah, that's like, don't you catch on fire? We're like,
It won't catch on fire. It'll just melt and wreck your turkey.
Sorry, it would just melt in it. That would be like, so I'm like, how does that work? So yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And then you put oil over and your spices, whatever spices you want, over your turkey. And then you put the turkey inside the paper bag. And then you lift the paper bag and put it inside a roast pan, and don't put a lid on. And why I love it is if I cook my turkeys 20 minutes a pound, and you never have to open the oven door. You never have to baste it. The turkey just comes out nice and brown.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And
Never heard that before.
A lot of people haven't, but this is what I guess, they didn't have a lot of money in those days. And my grandma, had the restaurant, and she cooked a lot of meals, and that's what she taught me. And I've done it, and it's real simple. It's really simple.
And it works.
And it works. And then, I don't know, do you like cranberry sauce?
It's okay. But I don't really make it with the turkey because I think I think like Scott doesn't care for cranberry.
Oh, okay.
But so it's like, I just get the stuffing, and like if I make it here in the office, right, Scott will enjoy it. So I don't think because I'm not a big turkey eater. Like if I eat, I'll eat like maybe that much, right?
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I make the stuffing, but I always have. I shouldn't say always, but sometimes like I'm still like want to get better at making the gravy. I think that's kind of a challenge for me. At times it turns out good, at times it doesn't.
You want me to tell you what I do and it turns out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about the cranberries.
Okay. I'll tell you about both.
Okay.
Because they're really simple. So we'll start with the cranberries. You buy your bag of fresh cranberries, and do it the day I guess you wouldn't have time tonight because you're having it tomorrow, but and you could do it tomorrow morning. But you put about read the bag, and it'll say a cup of water or 2 cups of water, depending on how big a bag of cranberries you buy. And then whatever amount of sugar they say, cut it in half. If they say a cup of sugar, put a half a cup of sugar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say double it.
No.
That would be too sweet.
You might like it doubled, Scott. And then it takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes to boil. You bring it to a boil. You put it all together, the sugar, the water, and the cranberries. You bring it to a boil. And as soon as it comes to a boil, you take it off the stove, put it in a glass container, not a plastic container, because plastic melts into the food. And then just stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and it'll become like a jelly.
Oh.
And that's how simple good, fresh, homemade cranberry sauce is.
Wow.
People think it takes a long time. Yeah.
So tell me about the gravy.
Okay.
How do you make good gravy?
So
I'll take notes.
I save the juice from the turkey.
Yeah, yeah,
add
that,
that.
yeah, no,
And
yeah.
any vegetables I cook, I save that juice and put it in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take uh, an onion soup mix, like the packaged onion that's processed, but
Okay.
you know, Lipton onion soup mix or no name brand onion soup mix. It doesn't really matter. And you boil a little bit of water and in a cup and put that soup mix in the cup and then make sure it's all dissolved. Throw that in, and then I put if like I don't eat wheat flour, but whatever type of flour you want. I usually
Mhm.
use coconut flour or I use pea flour, but you can use wheat flour if you want. And take 2 or 3 tablespoons and put it in a jar that you can have a lid to, and
Mhm.
add ice cold water and shake it until it's really nice and smooth. And put that either like in the fridge for an hour, and then when you're making the gravy, you pour that in, and that's what thickens it.
Oh, you mean so you actually put ice cold water in the flour?
Yes, in the jar,
Yeah, in
and
the jar.
you make sure that you beat the flour so that it's nice and smooth, like there's
Yeah.
no lumps. You put that in the fridge for an hour, so it's nice and chilled. And then as you in my gravy pan or in my roast pan, I've taken the turkey out already and put it on a plate so it can cool off. And in that roast pan, I put it on the stove and get like I say, I've got my turkey juices and my water from the vegetables. And if I
Mhm.
need more water, I just add water. And then I get it boiling. And like I say, I boil a little bit of water and get the Lipton soup mix um,
Mhm.
dissolved, and then I put that in, and then the flour I've already set up an hour or two before, and I've stuck it in the fridge. So I just stir it and make
Mhm.
sure it's nice and smooth, and then I slowly pour it in and mix, and it comes out nice and thick, and everybody loves the gravy. Never, it always works.
Nice. So how much
What
water?
does the number 1111 mean to you, if anything? What significance does that number have, anything,
Uh,
if anything?
I don't know. When you said that, I think of September 11th.
Mm.
The disaster that happened on September 11th.
Oh, you definitely don't want to associate it with that.
That's what he said. What come to my head, that's what was there.
Yeah. No, no, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
For of course it was, what came to mind, your honest thing, right? Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Which I can get why, that would be like, yeah, September 11th, 11/11.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some people come on because they say, "Oh, I see the number everywhere." As soon as I saw the name of the thing, I had to come on.
Ah,
Yeah,
well,
so I get it. For you, it's just a number. For me, that's what it was too. I
yeah,
just when we came up with the name, it was just she was so depressed. It was
yeah,
like, let's make it so that you definitely have a guest by 11 in the morning, and because you're so depressed, let's just say 11:11. Give you an extra 11 minutes because you won't forget that. Never
no.
thinking that this thing would become popular.
Well, that's pretty cool that you're. I just think the whole story is pretty cool. I just,
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to.
No, we don't want to talk about that though.
No. Okay. Good.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I learned how to make proper gravy here.
Right. That's right. So you
Quinn,
got my phone number. So if you get stuck, just holler.
oh, yeah, I may take you up on that one
Yeah,
time. So,
please do. Please do.
yeah, it's just, I guess, yeah, just, I guess, practicing. Once you really,
Yeah.
know how to make it, you can't forget it, right? It's like
Yeah.
riding a
It's just
bike.
it's like anything to master anything. I just believe we have to practice
Yeah, yeah,
anything, right?
yeah, yeah. So, what is it like living in British Columbia? I've
Do you
heard
know what? I love it. I was
beautiful.
born in Hamilton, Ontario, and I lived lived in Toronto, and I've lived all over Ontario. I was
Mm-hmm.
raised in foster homes, so I was moved around a lot. But I moved to BC in 1979,
Mm-hmm.
and it took me 5 years to acclimatize because of the rain and the dark in the winter. I was so used to the snow and the brightness.
Mm-hmm.
So I was homesick uh, for Ontario for about 5 years, but now you'd never get me back. I mean, I love Ontario. I try to come back once a year. I have a twin brother. Like most of my family lives there. But BC is just beautiful. I get to see green lawns almost 12 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I get I still have to wear a winter coat. I'm wearing my winter coat now. It's cold out. Um, but I just love it. I love being near the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't live on the ocean, but I'm only a 45-minute car drive from the ocean. In fact, I used to live in Vancouver and was right next to the ocean. But
Mm-hmm.
a little over a year ago, my daughter asked me to move here to Langley because she needed help with the baby,
Right.
and the house I was renting, they were demolishing it, and so to try and find a place affordable in Vancouver, which I could, but it takes something to find something,
Yeah.
and I thought I had a car then. I don't now. I had a car then, and I was coming when I lived in Vancouver. I came out 3 times a week to watch my daughter or granddaughter. So because my daughter went back to school, and she was working part time and going to school, and she needed support.
Right.
So when this happened, she just said, "Mom, just move beside me," and I was like, "Oh." But I moved, and I love it. I love being able to walk all over the place and not have the snow everywhere. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I'm only what's really neat about where I live. I can brag about that is that we're like we can an hour away, and I can go in the mountains and ski. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and yet and then go an hour and you can swim in the ocean. So like I'm right in the middle. I can go, and in the spring and that you can still ski up in the mountains and go to the ocean. So it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. And I love going to Stanley Park. Like it's only a 45-minute drive from me, and and then I love going to. I'm only 25 minutes from White Rock, where the ocean is there. So I just feel, I don't know, I just love being around water. It's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, water can be very nourishing and therapeutic, even just to look at. I
Mhm.
had this thing, for water fountains. Whenever I pass by a water fountain, I just love to sit there, stare at it. That was like a meditation for me. I remember that, watching the waterfall. Yeah, yeah. Um, how would you say that, BC is different from Toronto?
Well, BC is huge. So,
Mm,
like, it's a big, big province.
yeah.
So, Ontario is uh, very beautiful too. And so is
Mhm.
British Columbia. But I would compare Toronto to Vancouver. Um, so, I mean, Toronto isn't it Lake Ontario? Am I getting the
Mhm.
lakes correct?
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
can be beautiful too. You can be near the water. Um,
yeah, depending where you live.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in Vancouver, there's water pretty close by everywhere, right? And
Yeah.
when you were talking about the fountains, I go into Vancouver at least once a week, and the area that I hang out with is near the seawall but uh, all downtown. What I love about downtown is like almost every block or two, there's big, huge fountains, and there's water running. And like when you said you like to meditate, you could just sit anywhere
Mm.
within a couple of blocks, and you would see water. Like I'm talking like downtown Burrard, Thurlow, like all the main drag of Vancouver, and then you're within from one part of the ocean to the other. You're 25-minute walk away from, like, English Bay, Stanley Park, West End. Like it's
Right. So it's like a lot of these neat attractions there.
yeah. And
Close
I have a sister that lives in Ottawa, and this is a neat story. I get emotional, but I was raised in and out of foster homes, and then eventually lived with my father, and he was pretty unhealthy. And we were all split. There was 4 of us, and we were all split when we were little. And this sister, she was 18 months old, and I was 3 or 4, and she was raised with very wealthy grandparents, and so we never had it was sort of like she didn't have a lot of interest in who I was. And out of doing some transformational work, recently, my dad died, and a little over a year ago, and I invited her. I've always invited her into my life, but it was always like going to the cooler, at an office where the cooler talk. It was like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and like you and I are sharing more deeply than her and I did. And and after Dad died, I was able to tell her some of the things that actually really happened, and we got to and I invited her to do a course with me, and she did it a few weeks ago with me. Flew out and did it with me, and she got freed up in her life, and we're reinventing our lives. We're in our 60s, and we're reinventing our whole life, and we're going to we're just inventing our life, how we're going to live our next 20, 30 years. And I have a baby sister in my life, and I think it's so cool. I'm a real emotional person. I'm a very caring person, and I was like, I never gave up that I would have family in my life, and I've made lots of people my family, but this is my biological family. And I had a sister that wasn't in my life for 30 years, and now she's in my life. So it's just, I just feel really blessed, that we're inventing. Who knows what we're going to do? I might start jet setting all over the place. She has a place in Florida, so I might.
You just never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's